What is going on, guys? MMA Island Team, and wait a second, you're not supposed to be seeing us right now because we woke up today, and well, not woke up today, happened around like 2 p.m., but
Hmm.
two fights have been canceled. Thiago Moises positive for COVID-19.
God
He's
damn it.
out of the fight versus Jalen Turner.
Not happy.
And Brian Kelleher loses his opponent in Kevin Natividad. Ray Rodriguez did, however, weigh in at the weigh-ins yesterday, and he's there. He was on weight, and he was willing to fill in if Natividad was out of the fight due to COVID-19. He's out of the fight due to COVID-19, and here we are. We're talking about Ray Rodriguez, the judge, or maybe the judge Ray Rodriguez. I can never tell on this website.
It's Ray the Judge, probably.
Ray the Judge Rodriguez taking up Brian Kelleher. So looking forward to this one, and I will pass it on to Zach to start us off.
So this is interesting because Brian Kelleher has been preparing for 3 different opponents. You got the classic chain grappler and high pace intensity of Ricky Simone. You have the crisp volume striking of Kevin Natividad. Now you have to deal with the jiu-jitsu prowess of Ray Rodriguez. That's got to be kind of confusing for him as he's had to, switch his game plan so many times. But at the end of the day, I don't think it'll affect him too much. Now, Ray Rodriguez has actually fought some very solid competition. And out of that very solid competition, he has lost to all but one and to a name that you all might recognize if you watch the Contender Series in Jimmy the Brick Flick, one of the most active submission grapplers you will ever watch. And that's what this guy does. On the ground, he is very, very active, and the amount of chokes that he has is just insane. And the variety, you've got arm triangle chokes, he's got darces, he got triangles, RNCs, and a Bravo choke. Something you don't see on many people's records all the time. And he likes to go for big, powerful takedowns. He likes to bring these people down to the mat, and he wants to hurt them. I mean, he has a slam KO on his record, too. So he wants to get them all softened up on the ground after the takedown so he can easily sink in that choke. This guy works fast on the ground. But on the feet, he is outmatched by Brian Kelleher. Brian Kelleher, he does have that beautiful arm and guillotine that he likes to call the boomatine. I think that's really stupid, but outside of that, we know on the feet that Brian Kelleher has very solid pop in his hands, and he has hand speed as well. He's going to outclass Ray Rodriguez on the feet. That's what's going to happen. Ray Rodriguez on the ground might have the advantage, and I do think he'll try and take it there. I don't see Brian Kelleher trying to take this fight to the ground because that just wouldn't be too smart. You're playing into your opponent's strengths. And with him having such a big striking advantage and the fact that Rodriguez made weight on such short notice, I'm going to have to keep my pick with Brian Kelleher.
So that's where we differentiate. I am going with Brian Kelleher on this one, but I'm not swapping my pick. I had Natividad win in the last one, but I guess we'll never know. So I'm going to have to go with Brian Kelleher as well. I do agree with a lot of the things that you said. Ray Rodriguez, what he's known for is kind of that ground game. He's got that submission style. But as you mentioned, knocking out Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick is definitely the type of guy who wants to take you to the ground and submit you, as you mentioned, submission specialist in Jimmy Flick. Knocking out a guy with no KOs on his record. I really can't say that's too that doesn't tell me too much about his stand-up game. And when you're talking about the stand-up game going up against Brian Boom Kelleher, man, Brian Boom Kelleher definitely has the advantage in the stand-up game. And as you mentioned, kind of coming into this fight, not really sure if he would be fighting Brian Kelleher until recently, very, very recently. I don't really think it's a good idea to step in there with a guy who has the hands of Brian Kelleher. Ray Rodriguez has been the distance a lot early in his fight, but as of recently, a lot of his fights have been lasting like first rounds. So in his last 8 fights, 4 of them have been finished in the first round all in his favor. Actually, no, one not in his favor against Chris Gutierrez with a rear naked choke. And then a KO victory over Jimmy Flick, as we mentioned, and then 3 of them going to the 3rd round. So can you really say that Ray Rodriguez has the cardio advantage? He's been there, but he hasn't been there too recently, other than his last 2 fights have also gone to the 3rd round. But so it's tough to say, because do you really play into factor the fact that this fight was really recently he was really recently notified about this fight? Can you say he has the cardio advantage? So really what it is for me is just taking the guy who's more prepared, taking the guy who has this striking advantage, and really you could say could probably survive on the ground. Like Brian Kelleher, hey, I said that I talked about his takedown game a little bit in the Natividad fight prediction. But he's not that bad on the ground. Like I hope I didn't say anything too bad about Kelleher on the ground, because he really isn't that bad on the ground. Ray Rodriguez, I agree with you, definitely has the advantage on the ground, but I think Kelleher could survive there if it does go there. We'd like to see some, as I always say, I want to see some transitions, some ground transitions, some takedowns, and some sprawls, and I love it, man. I love it all. So really interesting to see, hey, man, if Ray Rodriguez can come out here and get a win, filling in for this fight, literally the day of the fight, that's very impressive. And what's also impressive is us hopping on for a quick prediction video.
Yeah.
And I want to see you guys let us know in the comments who you guys got. It's a few hours until the fight. So, hey, if you can do it now. I want to see some comments. I want to see some likes. I want to see you guys subscribe into the channel. And hey, man, if the fights are on, check out the other fight pick videos, because you could get some bets in. We'll see you guys in the next one.